Okay, good morning. As we get used to our new mics, we'll call the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments meeting of December 10th to order. And do we have a quorum? Okay, let's go through and introduce ourselves. I am Holly Williams. I'm the chairman and county commissioner from El Paso County.
Good morning, Andy Gunning, Executive Director, PPACG.
Sharon Thompson, newly sworn in mayor.
Awesome.
And we have 7 council members of last night.
Sure.
Very good.
Dennis Stern, Palmer Lake Mayor.
John Graham, Mayor of Manitou Springs for about another 3 weeks.
Nothing like counting down the hours. Todd Dixon, Mayor of Green Mountain Falls.
Bill Weissong, County Commissioner, District 3.
Jeff Bond, representing Peterson, Schriever, and Cheyenne Mountain.
Awesome.
Shane Ferguson, Region 2 Transportation Director.
Cheryl Richards, Office Manager for PPACG.
Eric Stone, Teller County Commissioner, District 3, and Vice Chair of the Board. First Vice Chair, second, which am I? First Vice Chair, thank you.
Okay, we also have online, we have Commissioner Amy Mitchell from Park County, Brandy Williams, City Councilwoman Brandy Williams from Colorado Springs, Mayor Kelly Case, the Mayor of Woodland Park, Mayor Mitch LeKind, the Mayor of Monument, and Councilwoman Laura Cronick from Monument, and WT. Okay, sorry, we've got a little new sound panel here and sound system. And those are the voting members that I have online. Have I missed any voting members? Okay. All right, thank you very much. Our second item is agenda approval. Are there any questions on the agenda?
Madam Chair, if I could just point out that during the board workshop on Friday, you did direct us to update the agenda, repost it, and pull one item off the consent portion that was initially posted and make that an action item. So formerly item 4C, which was the Walden Corporation Water Treatment Plant site application, is now action item 5D.
Okay. So 4C has been moved off the consent calendar and is a regular item 5D. With that change, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Mayor Dixon, I'll move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I know you got to get to the button fast around here. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and Commissioner Corey Applegate is here as well. Let's go ahead. We're losing a member. We're kind of a little bit discouraged about this, but he gets to go back to private sector. So let's take a moment to honor Mayor John Graham.
And it doesn't need to be a moment of silence. You get your freedom back. Yes, that wasn't sure, that was getting a little awkward, but I really want to thank Mayor Graham for your exceptional service. It's been a pleasure working with you on behalf of the staff here at PPACG. Just a great person to work with and an outstanding representative for Manitou Springs, represented the community very, very well. And we're going to miss your partnership and your friendship. So we've got a very small token of appreciation to send you on your way with. But yeah, sure, you want to come on up? That would be super. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much.
Yes, thank you.
Super. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate your service.
Great.
Yes. Super. Let's stay in touch.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
If I may,
Yeah.
Madam Chair, if I could make.
Well, do you want to wait just a minute and let us, May?
Do you want to shoot
want-
first?
Would you like to roast him first?
Whoa!
I don't want to roast him. He's too nice. John, I just want to let you know you have made this board fun and enjoyable, and I've enjoyed our time getting to know each other. You're a very positive person, always willing to jump on board, help with whatever, even the smallest committee, your board or whatever. And I really value your opinions and who you are as a person. And I want to thank you for the time invested and the time that you gave me to get to know me a little bit better too. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
And I'll ditto that. It's been a wonderful professional relationship, you know, especially going out for lunches and everything. Really enjoyed our camaraderie that we've had and our you know, continual, you know, kind of back and forth type activities that we've done. So I've really appreciated it. John was one of the first ones that kind of invited me to Indigenous Peoples Day to basically say something. And so, yeah, that was very much appreciated as well.
Thank you.
So I haven't had an opportunity to know you that long, but I do respect and admire all that you do to and have done for the benefit of your community, Manitou Springs, and the community at large. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
And John, thanks. It's just been a little over a year that we've gotten to know one another, but when I've attended some of the Manitou Springs, you know, town council meetings, that you've been very open and introducing me and just made me feel welcome. So it's been fun, and we're gonna miss you, but maybe we'll see you on TV as you continue your Adaman activities.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump in as well here real quick, but you know, it sounds sometimes like, hey, it's been a pleasure to serve with. It means a little more, John, when talking about you and your service on this. Truly has been a pleasure, and it's because of your demeanor, the way that you represent, you know, your city, you know, the way that you interact with people on this board, always with 100% respect, and even, you know, among times of disagreement, you know, there's always a cordialness and a respectfulness, and that's just part of who you are. And it truly has been a pleasure to serve with you, sir.
And it has been a pleasure to serve with all of you.
Commissioner
If I can
Applegate,
jump-
and
can
then
I
we'll go
jump
to
in
Mayor
here?
Mitch.
John,
Yeah.
thank you, man. Appreciate
John.
it. So shoot off an extra firework for yourself. Do 2 this year. Go 61 when they shoot them off at midnight. So good. Hey, we'll miss you. Miss you already, bud.
Right, thank you.
Mayor Mitch LeKind.
Yeah, John, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. It's been great to get to know you and your community through what you have, you know, shared with us, and the times that I've been able to come down there for various meetings and go around Manitou. It's been great, and our collaboration that we've had, and of course the lunches have always been a great conversation that we've had. So I wish you a lot of luck in what you're going to be doing in the future, and maybe you won't be on TV, but if you are, I hope it's for good reason.
I hope it's for a good reason. Thank you.
Councilwoman Williams.
Oh, come on. There we go. Good morning. Don, I feel at this point like I've known you forever, which I think is a good thing, because as the years go by, our friendship just gets stronger and stronger. And you have given your life truly to this community in several different ways. And even though we all say thank you, I know it's never going to be enough to balance out all the work that you've done. You're selfless and giving, and always think of everyone else first. And you know, if there's any way we can get Manitou to make it all right, then you add that in. But really, you're very community minded. You make sure that you keep everybody whole, and then we try to solve problems that always have a win-win result. So thank you for everything. I would say good luck in your retirement, but you don't sit still very well. So we'll see what the next chapter brings. And if you ever need me, just give me a call. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else online?
This is Mayor Case from
Yes,
Woodland Park.
okay.
Hey, John.
Go ahead, Mayor Case.
Thank you. Hey, John, it's been such a pleasure serving with you. You're a great guy. I know this won't be the last time that we interact, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks again for everything, and go forth and do great things.
Great, thank you.
All right, John. I've really appreciated working with you. We serve both on the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments and the Pikes Peak Rural Transportation Authority. I found you to always be a gentleman, to be polite, to ask nicely, and I really enjoy your wisdom and the advice you give. And I would say that if you are the graham crackers on the s'more, then you probably are the marshmallow, and maybe John Leosados is the chocolate. Had to give a food reference just for Leosados here.
Sounds good.
So thank you.
Madam Chair, if I could make a couple remarks. Thank you very much. It's been a good ride. I've enjoyed this. I feel this has been important work. I take away a lot of satisfaction. So I'm proud of the work that PPACG and PPRTA do. When it comes to government, I think we would all probably agree that when it comes to government of, by, and for the people, there's nothing that's quite as intimate as local government. We're not isolated by distance. We're not anonymous. People know who we are. They see us on the streets. They're pretty generous in giving it advice. They tell us what the expectations are. They share the disgruntlements, and occasionally they express gratitude. Today, I want to express gratitude to all of you. You are really in the trenches. This is where government serves the people, and the people let us know about it. You are the brains and the heart and the soul of local government, of your communities. You show leadership, you show vision, you try to fix things, you try to make things better. That's not always possible. I think you're a group of people who plant trees, many of which you will never sit in the shade of. You're forward thinking. You serve in your own community. Certainly when we come together here as collaborators, I think we demonstrate that government can do good things, that we can be efficient, that we can have vision, that we can take care of the common good, that we can take care of people. I've always admired people of your caliber, and I always will. And so I want to thank you. I hope that you have satisfactions like I do. You should be proud of the work you do, regardless of how the day goes, whether it's good or bad. Be proud of the work you do, the integrity you've demonstrated, the commitment and the resolve. Thank you very much.
We get a picture.
Yes, we do want to get a picture. Where do you want it?
Yes, maybe in front of the logo. And John, we'll make sure you get a copy of this as well. But I think Jared wants to snap a picture of the whole group.
Okay, we'll do military installation reports. If you're okay, Jeff, we're going to go to Colonel Dave Herndon with Fort Carson.
Madam Chair, did we skip public comment?
We did, I'm sorry. Is it okay if we go ahead and do, yeah. Colonel David Herndon, I'm sorry about the public who's here to comment. We'll get the military bases going first.
Hey, Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen, Dave Herndon from the United States Air Force Academy, your United States Air Force Academy. First time engaging with you all since the government shutdown, but we appreciate the continued partnership across the Front Range. The Academy is closing out from a position of strength. The semester, our cadets are in finals week right now. They're wrapping up successful academic, military training, and athletic activities. While the cadets transition, the installation is going to continue to operate, and we're going to maintain kind of our essential services and partnerships as we turn to the new year. Along those lines, we're excited to join our Front Range installation leaders later this week as we have a meeting with the Deputy Assistant Secretary of War, Andrew Winternitz. He's got the portfolio of mission assurance and continuity of operations. So we look forward to having some fruitful conversations with him that are going to reinforce how closely interconnected kind of our installations are with the local communities when it comes to infrastructure, energy, and long-term readiness. Additionally, I'd like to highlight a little bit of the continued progress that we're seeing on the Readiness and Environmental Protection Integration Program, REPI, as many of you are aware. We've got some strong partnerships and advancements that we've seen along the Bohart Ranch training area for our cadets, and additionally in the Green Mountain property area along the Academy's northern border. This is all about an integrated approach to readiness and protecting valuable training areas for our cadets moving forward, and we're thrilled with some of the progress we're seeing there. And then lastly, Madam Chair and teammates, I want to close by thanking everyone who's joined us for our Holly and Ivy concerts at the Academy. Many of you are aware of those concerts in the past being held downtown with your United States Air Force Academy band. But the performances we've held on December 3rd and 4th, also had a performance last night on the 9th, are free to the public. We'll have another one tonight on the 10th. You can go to airforcetickets.com. But it's a way that we can celebrate the holidays together. And I know General Bauernfein, Superintendent of the Academy, welcomes everyone from the Front Range to come and celebrate with us. Madam Chair, that concludes my remarks. Standing by for any questions from the body.
Any questions? Thank you. And yes, you are from USAFA, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. David Tukmanian from Fort Carson.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Thank you so much, and thank you, board members. We really appreciate it. So this is our first time addressing the board since we've all returned to work, and I just want to express on behalf of Fort Carson, the soldiers, the family members, and all the service members, the incredible support that we received from the community was second to none, and we just love being here so much and being a part of this community, and it's really a credit to all of your constituents and the folks that you represent as mayors and council members, and so we just thank you very much. Next, so we just did the ribbon cutting on the new Abrams Elementary School, a fantastic D8 school over here near our, I think it's Cherokee, our Cherokee housing area, and that is a fantastic facility. We were super excited to have Governor Polis in town to make some remarks, and so that was a great event. And our partnership with D8 again is fantastic. Next, so during the furlough, we had scheduled the Front Range Partnership and Strategy Summit, an event that many of you have gone to. Last year, we held it at the Olympic Training Center. Well, that was supposed to have been 7 November. And, of course, we had to cancel that. But we've got it back on the calendar. So here's a save the date, 23 February, which is a Monday, strange day for us to do that, but that's how it fit into our schedule. 23 February at Falcon Stadium over on USAFA, we're going to host the next Front Range Partnership and Strategy Summit. So that's a save the date. In the beginning of January, we'll send out a new tranche of invitations to folks and ask some folks to hopefully present at that event as well. Okay, and then let's see, I got one more note. So right now, as we speak, yesterday evening and this evening, down in southern Colorado, we're hosting some public scoping meetings for the environmental impact study that we're doing down at Pinyon Canyon Maneuver Site. So many of you know that Fort Carson owns about 230,000 acres down there, and we're really working on enhancing how we train down there and expanding our capability with that land that we have. And in order to do that, we just want to hear what the public has to say, and those meetings are going on in southern Colorado as we speak. And so with that, Madam Chair, I'll open it up to any questions, and if there are none, I thank you very much.
Are there any questions, Mayor Thompson?
Yes, I just want to compliment you and give everybody envy. That new school has the best view in the entire region of any school. You walk in the front door and it is almost floor to ceiling, 20-foot high windows out into Pikes Peak. So those kids are going to have quite the view. And I hope they can keep their attention when they're looking at all the bald eagles that are flying around out there. But it is absolutely gorgeous. So hats off to D8 and Fort Carson for working together on that beautiful, beautiful facility.
Okay, thank you, David. Let's go to Jeff Bond with the Space Force Base, Peterson, Schriever, and one other, I think.
Cheyenne Mountain.
And Cheyenne Mountain.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thanks to the board of directors for having us here to be able to speak. I'm happy to be back at PPACG following the furlough and government shutdown. And I'd like to echo Fort Carson sentiments that our installations, specifically our service members and our civil service employees, we've very much appreciated the outpouring of generosity of services and assistance during the furlough. It was trying for some people. In spite of people getting back pay, there were still a lot of challenges, secondary and third order effects that were assisted by our local governments and our nonprofits and the other agencies that came to bear. So thank you all for your support on that. Schriever and Peterson did receive some funding for an initial space operations compatibility use zone study. The study, known as SOICUS, will work toward identifying many factors that can be provided to key stakeholders regarding compatible development around our Space Force installations and protecting the Space Force missions. The first meeting with the contractor in charge of creating the study happened late last month with Schriever members. Peterson will be starting their study earlier in the upcoming year. Installation leadership are working a number of issues right now in light of the 7-week shutdown. I say this because their availability for community engagement is limited this month as they're trying to catch up for 2 months of tabled work that still needs to get done. Many of our engagements are going to be deferred until next month. Last item was that a land use working group is going to be engaging for their first meeting on December 15th. And this group is a cooperative with the City of Colorado Springs officials and leadership from Peterson and Cheyenne Mountain to start discussions on encroachment concerns around the installation. And initially, there's going to be a fair amount of conversation regarding NORAD Road. On that vein, we were very surprised and pleased that the State Parks and Wildlife and the City of Colorado Springs came together and secured several hundred acres surrounding Cheyenne Mountain Space Force Station, which enhances our security and provides compatible use. So pending any questions, that's all I have to report for today. Thank you.
Okay, I just have one comment, one question. I think the city tops tax is really nice because I believe the tops bought that land with the trails and open space tax. The question I have is, can you give me the acronym for that study? It came out as SOICUS on the
Space.
Just spell
Space
it.
Operations Compatibility Use Zone Study.
Compatibility Use Zone Study.
And I have rights to it on my state license plate.
Okay. No, well, that'll be very fascinating to watch. I really appreciate that you all are doing that. And I'd actually encourage you in that compatibility study to reach out to Classic Homes and talk to Doug Stimple and I think Jeff Smith there, if you know, just for your leadership to pass that on. So I think that's great. Okay, now, thank you. Any other questions? Okay. With no other questions, we really are excited to have our military bases back. I do know my daughter-in-law is getting sworn in as a citizen next week, and I do know the federal government process has been delayed because this is the 4th date we've had. And so I'm hoping that this one sticks, and as is she. So we're really excited. The public comments, I apologize for skipping A. I seem to be a little bit more off than usual this morning. Public comments can be made before or during the meeting. Public comments during the meeting are limited to 3 minutes and can be done at the meeting location or remotely by using the posted Microsoft Teams link. Individuals are encouraged to notify the meeting organizer before the start of the meeting with the agenda item that they would like to comment on. Public comments can be submitted before the meeting via email for distribution to the committee members. Is there anyone in the room who would like to have public comment? Okay, and is there anyone online? All right, thank you. We are done with 3A. 4A, these items are acted on upon as a whole unless they're called up for discussion by a board member or a citizen wishing to address the board. We have 4A, B, D, E, and F. Are there any questions?
Madam Chair, there's 2 more,
Uh-oh,
G and H as well.
it's a tough morning. I'm sorry.
It's a long list.
G and H, I didn't print out the most recent agenda, apparently. What does H say? G, okay. So it just stops at G. So it's A through G with the exception of C, as in, oh. Oh. Okay, we are going to move the whole consent calendar because we're looking at the Walden Corporation as item number D.
You're conflating, there's Waterbury and then there's Walden. So Waterbury is part of the consent items. Walden is separate.
Okay, I did conflate that. So let's uninflate that. And we will approve items 4A through G. Is there a
So moved.
motion?
I'm doing it real fast before we change it.
Oh, yeah, so moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Are there any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. 6A, the annual safety targets presentation, Danielle Miller. Or Jared.
So we can jump to information, but we want to do action items first, 5A instead of 6A.
5A. I might turn this meeting over to Eric at the rate I'm going. Surface transportation reauthorization. Jared Werner.
All righty. Good morning, everybody. Jared Werner, Public Policy and Communications Manager. A couple months ago, we were approached by a group called Move Colorado. They're kind of a collection of different groups in the state that focus on transportation issues, whether that's permitting, construction, funding, basically put all the transportation stuff in one bucket. And they were developing some priorities on for their organization. For the upcoming surface transportation reauthorization bill that we're expecting to probably move here in the next few months. While we are not members of Move Colorado, we were invited just to provide input and provide feedback as they drafted their priorities. We were actually pretty successful in getting several of our priorities in their attached priority document, which I've included here. Ones that are very specific to metropolitan planning organizations. You know, they are supportive of us and the work that we do in terms of long-term planning. While a lot of these groups in this Move Colorado group are more kind of like boots on the ground, kind of at the end of as projects are being implemented. they have, while we're not members, they have invited us to sign on this authorization letter. So they're giving everyone who participated an opportunity to sign into this letter. And that's what we're proposing for the board to give authorization to do today. Happy to answer any questions or anything like that.
Commissioner Stone.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just one quick question. The issue of capacity, was that ever brought up to this group? I know it's been an issue for us, not as much for the state, but was that a topic of discussion?
That I'd say capacity by itself was not a topic of discussion. I think this group, and we kind of talked a little bit on the permitting part. And so I'd say this group is in favor of whatever transportation projects can get implemented and funded. How they get to that point is kind of up for discussion. I will say CDOT was not part of the discussion. If that provides any input into possibly answer your question on that. You know, a lot of the people in this group, I'm going off of memory, I might be missing a few, but the Freight Association was in there. Contractors were in there. Concrete and asphalt folks were in there. PPACG was really the only governmental entity that stuck through the entire process. RTD participated in 1 or 2 meetings. CDOT was invited to the first meeting. But other than that, yeah, I'd say like capacity without having the full document in front of me was not specifically addressed. This group is primarily how to get people efficiently from point A to point B.
Madam Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
Dennis Stern, Mayor Palmer Lake. So you just stated that they're for positive about any transportation projects moving forward. Does that, so when you say that, my mind goes to, well, there's vehicle transportation and then there's mass transit. So do they separate those two? Do they have, you know, any priority in regards to mass transit versus vehicle, et cetera?
They do have that as part of their document. CASTA, which is kind of the statewide transit organization, was another active member through every meeting. You know, it's kind of like just for us, like we're in support of transit. We support transit at the same time. You know, there are other ways to get around than just mass transit. And I would say that the priorities reflect that. That was not something that I would consider to be a detriment to the priorities that this Move Colorado group presented. So yes, transit was part of the discussion. Transit does have its own section in the priorities document. But it would not be something I would say is outside the bounds of what we are advocating for as PPACG as well.
And I think what this letter is in relation to the surface transportation reauthorization at the federal level. And at the federal level, they are still using the population formulas from 2000, because that way the states that lose population get more money. And how much is Colorado being shorted a year, Jared?
It's right around about $209 million a year.
Yes, and so this is more, since next year Congress is going to be looking at the reauthorization of the surface transportation bill. This is more at a federal level than the state. Obviously, we have the one thing that CETA is going to really lobby back against is having money go directly to the metropolitan organizations instead of flowing through CDOT from the federal government. I don't know as if we'll be successful in getting that in the surface transportation reauthorization, but this is essentially, we want somehow this formula to be fixed, even if we keep the states that lost population whole, and bring up Texas, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, so that we're getting our fair share of dollars. That is what needs to happen here, is to get that money so that we're not subsidizing a state that's losing population when we're gaining population. And so that's what this letter specifically is about. It's going to Congress. Like I say, I don't think that CDOT will sign on to the letter, and I think they'll disagree with the MPO provision. Actually, they might sign on to the letter for more money, but they will specifically probably disagree with the MPO provision, if I had to guess. That's speculation.
So I had pulled up during the early part of that, the transit part of that, and that's what it is here. I mean, it's advocating for more funding, providing more control at the local level. Whether it's and it's not, but it's not going, I think, as far as some of the state priorities have gone in that direction. And then to Chairwoman Williams's point on the funding part, this is a lot of where our points were incorporated. Among them, and they agreed formula funding. It's more predictable. It comes more frequently. Like you can plan around that a lot more effectively in the discretionary funding program. Talking big picture, that the AASHTO, which is the state highway transportation officials, it is a fairly powerful lobbying group in Washington. So I think we've got our work cut out for us on that particular part that Commissioner Williams was referring to. There's a lot of pieces in this. I would say this group was really looking for consensus. They were not out to put something in there that someone would not, as part of the discussion, would have an issue in signing this.
Madam Chair, Dennis Stern, Palmer Lake.
Sure, go ahead.
Last meeting, one of our last meetings, we talked about the electric vehicles versus internal combustion engines and how they contribute to the transportation funds and all that kind of stuff. Did this group address any of that?
They did, and that was actually a point of discussion at the workshop as well. And so I pulled up that part of it. And these have been ongoing discussions, especially with EVs at the federal level. During the drafting of, I think it was HR1 or maybe another bill, the House put in an EV charge, national EV charge, and then got pulled out in the Senate version. But I pulled it up here. So at the federal level, the Highway Trust Fund is supplemented by general fund dollars. So the Highway Trust Fund is not able to adequately raise the funds needed in the surface transportation bill. And so this group just listed a couple of options. We were discussing on Friday the national registration fee. None of these 4 fees that listed are, yes, we are in support of these. It's just ideas to find some way so that the Highway Trust Fund is not dependent on those general fund transfers every year. And so EV fees, whether that's a road usage fee, that gets problematic from a privacy perspective. Freight fees, and again, the Freight Coalition was part of these discussions, and so they understood and they were amenable to that inclusion there as an example for consideration. As hybrids and EVs, they don't pay the gas tax, and so they don't pay into the Highway Trust Fund at the federal level. How do you account for that? We talked a little bit at the state legislative roundtable a few weeks ago about the efforts to try to phase in the EV fees to try to match at the state level what gasoline-powered vehicles pay in at the state level. Robust discussion, I will say, and when you talk about these things, it is a robust discussion. But it is part of the let's look at it and see how to make this more sustainable in the long term.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do we have any questions online? I can't see because Andy just became the focus of my picture. All right, if there's any questions online, please speak up. Okay, do we have a motion then to approve this, to join as a co-signer on this letter?
So move, Sharon Thompson.
Second. Okay. Mitch LeKind was our second. Thank you, Mitch. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you.
Now we have the Clean Air Act, which is also Jared. To public comment in support of Maricopa County, Arizona. Go ahead, Jared.
I'm happy to, but I'm going to defer to Andy, our resident air quality expert. I can fill in gaps, but I know when there's a smarter person in the room.
I can't even fill in gaps on this, so let's all defer to Andy. Go ahead.
Not sure that I'm the smarter one on this, but anyways, we're also looking for support from the board to sign on to submit a letter at the federal level that would go to EPA. There's a public comment period that's open right now. It closes on December the 19th. And it's not for a region in our state. It's for the Phoenix metropolitan area. The Maricopa Association of Governments has gone through a process with EPA where they've prepared an analysis and have submitted this for EPA consideration to demonstrate that they would have attained the federal ozone standards, but for international emissions coming into their region. This is part of the same conversation that we've been having for the past couple of years. We've been working with our brothers and sisters across the Intermountain West and a bunch of different regions on this very issue. I will point out international emissions doesn't impact us quite as much in our region, but all the other stuff that's kind of related, like wildfire smoke, background naturally occurring emissions, certainly does. And the MAG analysis really touches on all of those kind of comprehensive sources. So I would suggest that we submit something for the record. I think that would help our partners in Phoenix. Next one up that may be in the same review process is in the Wasatch Front, Greater Salt Lake City area in Utah. And our review may be down the road in a couple of years, no telling at this point. But we may need our partners to come to our rescue and submit some comments in support as well. I know a call that Angie Martell had yesterday with some of our technical work group members across the Intermountain West indicated they're also submitting comments in support of the MAG analysis, probably coming from the North Throat Range MPO in Colorado, comments from Utah, from Nevada, and probably a couple of other regions as well. So I would just suggest that we put something on the record with EPA. We've got some draft guidance language that's in the memo, but still working on a letter that ideally would be signed by the chair and I, and really emphasizing a lot of the key points that we've been talking about around this table for the past couple of years. So happy to answer any questions.
Andy, is this mostly just related to international ozone, or is this like out of state?
Mostly international relations, but the analysis that the Maricopa Association of Governments did goes a little bit further than that and really emphasizes some of the natural occurring background ozone issues as well. Also touches on wildfire influence. So it's a little more comprehensive, but specifically the rulemaking action that EPA is going to take, which would support the Phoenix metro area, is specifically focused on international emissions. They're adjacent to Mexico, so they can quantify it a little bit more easily than we could.
Okay. Yep. No, makes sense. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Any comments online? I do think that this is a very, very good idea. And so I will take a motion. Go ahead.
Just to add to as well, we were looked into it, we researched this when I ran the NACO resolution. Andy, I had your help with that. And there is technology out there that can decipher where the emissions came from, whether it came from out of state or whether it came from, like you said, like international, like near Mexico. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's good that we take a stance on this. I think for EPA standards, that they need to understand it's like we can control a building, we can control a truck, a diesel truck. We can't control a wildfire out of state.
Just for the record, I was told by Jared, we have a little bit of a new sound system here. And so when we get that noise, the Chinese are listening in. And and they're realizing we're speaking about them, maybe. Okay, I will take a motion to approve.
Madam Chair? Madam Chair?
Yes. Go ahead.
Amy
Commissioner
Mitchell, Park County, thank you. I'll be a broken record because I mentioned this last Friday, but I really would like altitude to be emphasized in our letter because we cannot do anything about our high altitude, but it has huge impact on air quality. So I just want to make sure that that is front and center because I think it will help them realize the impact of the environment that we have no control of. Thank you very much.
Very good comment. Thank you. Okay, we'll take a motion to join in on this letter.
Can I do this?
Yes.
Make a motion to submit public comment for the Clean Air Act in support of Maricopa County and include our altitude in our state as a key
Okay.
word.
Do we have a second?
I'll second Mayor Dixon.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and 2 seconds. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you very much for your efforts on that, Andy. Item 5C is the FTA funding recommendations, 5310 release public.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Lisa Gagnon. I'm a transit planner here at PPACG, and I'm here to get approval for the release of public comment on the recipients and allocation for the 5310 funding. The 5310 funding is enhancing mobility for older adults and individuals with disabilities. These funds support and address gaps that paratransit and fixed route transit. So extended hours, more of service area, wider service area, and door-through-door service. We are the designated recipient, so we get the funding from the federal government, and then we pass it through and then to our subrecipients. And this is just for Colorado Springs urbanized area for the year 2026, and we received $703,000. Just the application process, it was released on October 7th, and then it closed on October 4th, and then our technical review subcommittee met twice on the 10th and the 14th of November. And the technical review subcommittee scored the applications using this criteria. So financial need, so the financial need of the service providers, the service justification, coordination and effectiveness of each service provider had with other coordination with other service providers in the area and other like nonprofits, alignment with our PPACG plans, and then budget review, looking over their budget and just seeing if it's compatible, and then past performance of the service agency with other PPACG and CDOT grants. So the TRS, the Technical Review Subcommittee recommendations, was to score Invita 2.86 and then Silver Key 2.83, so very similarly, and then Special Kids, Special Families 1.74. And they requested, Silver Key and Invita requested very similar amounts of money, just over $460,000, and Silver Key 473. And then Special Kids, Special Families just 150. And the recommendation is to fund Invita and Silver Key and not fund Special Kids, Special Families. Silver Key and Invita both scored similarly. So it was recommended to fund them equal amounts of $351,000 and not to fund Special Kids, Special Family. They did not have a kind of focus in their proposed services, and the members of the TRS just do not have confidence that they can handle federal funding at this moment. And then it is recommended that PPACG staff to work with them in the future if they wanted to apply for federal funding again. And again, the federal funding would be split evenly between Invita and Silver Key. Where are we now? So this has gone through the TAC and the CAC, and now it is here at the board. Public comment would open today, and then it will go through the TAC and CAC again for final approval, and then public comment will close, and then it will come again to the board next month. So again, this is just approval for the release of public comment of Invita and Silver Key being those subrecipients and being awarded $351,000. Is there any questions or comments right now?
Are there any questions or comments? Okay. With that, I guess I'll take a motion to approve item 5C.
Madam Chair, also move. Mayor Dixon.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. I would like to point out that also now we have Councilman Roland Rainey online, as well as Mayor Pro Tem King online, and William Shaw, Mayor of Rama. It's hard to keep that, so it was all together. Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Okay, Item 5D is the Walden Corporation Wastewater Treatment Plant, Angie Martell, Environmental Planner.
Hey, good morning, everybody. So the Walden wastewater treatment plant is for a new water treatment plant. So they already have a wastewater treatment plant there. It's northeast portion of the county, just east of Highway 83. The application was reviewed and recommended by the Site Application Review Committee in July of this year. Then the application went to the Water Quality Committee in July after that, and the Water Quality Committee at that time voted to table the application pending further information from the applicant. So the applicant went back to the Water Quality Committee again in October, and the Water Quality Committee voted to recommend the application to the PPACG board. However, one water quality member did oppose approval of that application at that time. The applicant then presented to the CAC, the Community Advisory Committee, in October, and the CAC recommended the site application be sent back to the Water Quality Committee, either to develop conditions of approval or for the applicant to provide necessary information to demonstrate both a financial plan as outlined in Regulation 22 and to address a sludge issue. So the applicant presented to the Water Quality Committee again in November, and the Water Quality Committee voted to recommend the application to the PPACG board with two conditions. One is that the applicant provide financial information as outlined in Regulation 22, and also to have the applicant complete sludge removal per CDPHE standards. So those were the conditions that the Water Quality Committee recommended. So the application then went to the CAC again in November, and the CAC recommended the application for approval with the conditions as outlined by the Water Quality Committee. After approval from this board, the application, assuming you would approve it, the application would go to the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment for final approval, and it would ultimately be up to them to enforce any commissions that we would recommend. And so that's all for me. The applicant is here in the room if you have any questions, as well as our Water Quality Committee chair is online if you have any questions for him.
Okay, where do we start on this one? Let's go ahead and bring me up. Matt Dunstan, welcome to PPACG.
Good morning, Madam Chair and PPACG board members. So I'm representing the Walden Corporation. It's upgrading its wastewater treatment plant from a SBR, sequential batch reactor, to an MBR, membrane bioreactor. And this is pretty much brought about by just increased standards for treatment, the Colorado Health Department. The Walden Corporation has been providing wastewater treatment for the area since 1963. It's a bit unique for these kind of systems. There's little ones up there in northern El Paso County. Academy's one, and certainly I'm sure you've all heard of Denala and Triview and Woodmore Water and Sand, to name a few. So in 1986, it was originally a lagoon system. In 1986, the SBR system was built, and it's worked well for the last 39 years, probably just about at its end of life. But mostly it's obviously repairs can be made along the way, but it's mostly necessitated by state health department requirements. And we're already in process of working with them up in Denver and the various basinal authorities as well. So that's what we're doing. Appreciate the opportunity to appear before the various bodies that Angie had mentioned. There's been a lot of back and forth and a lot of questions. I also appreciate the personal attention that various board and committee members have given to address issues. We did get unanimous approval before both of the previous bodies after having answered those questions. In the northern El Paso County area, there are several small system providers, and we try to be colleagues. And over the years, we've met with them to talk about water and wastewater stuff. Academy has been able to hook into Denali's because they're close by. We've explored the possibility of hooking in with One More Water and Sand and worked pretty extensively with the director, Jesse Schaefer. And it was just determined for a lot of different reasons that it would be necessary that we upgrade this plant. So with that degree of due diligence, we've endeavored to do that. I don't know if anyone has any questions at all. I can geek out on wastewater stuff for hours, so I don't want to bore you with details.
Okay, Commissioner Weissong.
The Whitesong County Commissioner. One of the questions I have in this section, it's probably got a different page number now, but on the October 15th meeting, you had stated that all the sludge was to be removed by November 11th, and it hasn't been completed yet.
Right. That's right.
As it stated here that you conveyed to the CAC that it should be or anticipate the removal should be completed in January. If it's not, I'd like to ask that the board or at least the Water Quality Management Committee get another personal visit.
Sure.
Stating why.
Okay.
This has been going on for a long time, and it's a biohazard, and the fact that it hasn't been cleaned up just concerns me. So that would be the only condition that I would like to add to this, which may not have any bearing on going up to the Colorado, final approval and investigation. But it needs to be removed to Colorado standards. But if it's not done in January, I'd like to understand why.
Sounds good, Bill. If I may speak to that just for a moment. It's a small system, doesn't treat many houses, 385 homes. About every 3 or 4 years, the sludge needs to be removed. And the company that had historically removed our sludge was out of business. And so we are now working with Terragenesis. And as a new customer, they told us they could remove it in November. Everything was good. And then Ricky Sellers called and said, Matt, got a little bit of a snafu here. As a new customer, even though you're residential, we don't anticipate any problems. We have to test the sludge and we have to send it off to various labs. And I said, what are you testing for? He said, we're testing for heavy metals. I said, how could there be heavy metals? He said, if you do industrial stuff, there would be. And you're only residential. We know it will be fine, but nevertheless, we have to go through that process. And much to our disappointment, and obviously the timing's a little off, but I talked to him yesterday on the phone just to confirm, and he said they still haven't gotten back everything, but the original ETA to do that is in January. And so he said he's still online to get that done, that it's a relatively simple thing. It's relatively routine. It's just how this particular wastewater plant has operated for years. So I understand there's been a bit of concern or consternation about that, but I would certainly assure everyone that it's routine, typical, what we've always done, just hiring a new company in consideration of the fact that the previous one is no longer in business. So that's all it is, and it definitely will be removed in January.
Mayor Thompson.
Thank you. Yeah, I reached out to Fountain Sanitation District, Roseanne,
Yeah.
my area, and
Yeah, Jonathan.
asked some questions. And I actually asked if the gentleman would be online today, and he was supposed to contact Angie. So is that who is the chair? So I would really like to hear from them and hear some of the conversations that happened within the water quality. And so
Are you referring to Jonathan Moore?
Yes.
Okay. So
I believe he's online, right? Is that okay?
And Jonathan is the chair of the Water Quality Management Committee. Okay, let's have Jonathan answer some questions. Go ahead, Jonathan. I see you're online.
Yes, thank you. After reviewing the additional information from the applicant and the requirement from CDPHE to cover finances, as well as the other items, we thought that a recommendation for approval was warranted, and that's why it came back to you guys. for that. We've talked about the sludge. I will personally inspect that in January. The removal of that and make sure that there is a liner underneath that sludge if it indeed is sitting there for 3 to 5 years. I live in the area. I'm on a well. I want to make sure that that material is not seeping down into the groundwater. So I have a vested interest in this project, as well as being the chair of the PPACG Water Quality Committee. So again, our recommendation is for approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So would we, is that something you would recommend that we put on as an amendment to this approval? That the county or you or someone does this inspection? Because I share Commissioner Weissong's concerns about the fact that this has been sitting there for such a long amount of time. We don't know if there's a liner in
It
it.
hasn't been there for that long of a time. It's removed and then put in the designated basin area and then removed from there. And there are monitoring wells, there's piezometers, it's a lined basin. It's a very routine thing for this wastewater treatment process. And I apologize for not thoroughly communicating that. It has not been sitting there for 3 years. It's removed and it's placed in the basin and then very quickly removed. But because this company went out of business, there's been a bit of a delay. That's all it is. So I appreciate the opportunity to clarify on that.
And the property is fenced now?
Yeah, it is. Yep. Been some construction around there with it. And so it's since been fenced in light of the grading and construction being completed.
Right. And as much as I appreciate CDPHE, because they did help us with our issues and they are such smart people, when you're in their meetings, you just be with anyways, but I was wondering if the county would be willing to step up and take some kind of official amended type not oversight, but checking on this or something. I don't know.
Jonathan said he lives up in the area and he does, and he'll.
Right. But he's on the board. He's not a county employee.
I don't know what the process is for the County Department of Health to inspect these things. We might actually have to look to Mr. Dunstan to tell us.
Yeah, there's a lot of inspections done on a routine basis by various state health department entities and for the function and procedures of the wastewater system. So I guess I would just say that would be redundant because those are already done at those levels. And this is just a routine thing. And my apologies to everyone for some of the misunderstanding that may have ensued. It's just a bit of a confluence of unfortunate circumstances with the timing, also with the previous sludge removal company going out of business, and now us having to begin the processes of working with the new one. So that's all it is. Very routine. Sludge removal is very much a part of every wastewater treatment facility. Ours is very small, so it's done about every 3 years, and that's just where we are. So I think we're good.
I am certainly willing to step up and go and inspect sludge. I have no idea how to do it. But
it isn't your district, Holly.
I know.
I would hope someone from the health department would assist you with that because they could actually explain what you're looking at.
I would hope so too.
And share some boots with you.
Yes, go ahead. Mayor
What is
Mitch.
the financing component involved in? Because I heard it brought up by, I think it was Mr. Moore, and I just like to understand what the financing is about.
Go ahead, Mr. Dunstan.
Yeah, thanks, Mitch. So in order to do this upgrade, obviously financing needs to be in place. What the CAC has expressed concern over is there's been years ago systems where there's money available to do such a thing. And so one of the question is, how do we know that funds will be allocated, that someone won't misallocate funds and leave with funds, as has extremely rare event has happened. And so Integrity Bank and Trust is the entity that will be financing all of these upgrades. And we've got a letter from them stating that there's approval for the financing. And moreover, it's done on a draw basis, and inspections are done monthly by that lending institution to make sure that the work is being done. And that's a fair question. You know, I understand that these boards and committees have a lot of different people, have a lot of different backgrounds and categories of expertise and so on. And I would say that definitely a lot of different questions have been asked on that. And then also there was a question I think Jonathan had asked, and that is, you know, what percentage of your revenue goes for O&M? And we've since given them a spreadsheet. There was a slight typo based on the revenue, it's 385 houses, resulting in $20,790 per month revenue. But the previous, and so someone had asked the question, there was a typo on that said 285, and someone had asked about the math. So I think we've got that clarified. It's just simply that typo. But I would say that, the O&M is there, the resources are there, the funding's in place, but I definitely appreciate the question.
Okay, so here's what we can do. We have the resolution in front. Oh, go ahead, Commissioner Stone.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And just for clarification, I think it might have been mentioned in there, but previously it sounds like that there was inadequate security over the site from preventing, frankly, neighborhood kids and others from coming into this area, playing in a biohazardous area. Comment was just made that a fence is up.
Yes.
Just want to make sure that
Yes, sir.
that it is now secure.
Yes, sir.
Especially if in light of
Right.
a delay
Yeah.
in the removal of this,
Right.
is to make sure that
Yeah.
that the surrounding community is protected from,
Absolutely.
from an attractive nuisance.
Yep. Thank you, Commissioner Stone, or what would I say, commissioner or board member?
Whatever you like.
Okay, thank you. I guess you are a commissioner, so thank you, Commissioner Stone. Appreciate that. And yes, that's important stuff. And yes, it's been done. So we're in good shape there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so here's what we can do, and I'll take the risk on this. As you know, our El Paso County Board of Health is governed by a different body, so which two commissioners sit on. So I will say that we've got two conditions here. I'm satisfied with both of those conditions. On the third condition, I will add in that El Paso County will provide someone to go out and inspect the site as well and take the heat from Brett Waters and our health department director if they're upset about it. But I will say on the bright sides, we've had some really good changes in our health department, and that wastewater inspection area is going much better, much quicker, and we're really getting some good things done. So we will take that as a third item. I will say before CDHP&E comes down, or CDPH&E comes down, El Paso County will provide an inspection of the sludge by someone qualified to do it.
Sounds good. Thanks all.
Okay, so if we're okay with all three of those conditions, then I can take a motion to move approval.
I would like to see.
You're welcome. And if I take the heat, I'll have Brett call you.
Oh, no, my number's on this.
Do we have a motion to approve this item?
Move to approve with the three conditions.
Second.
Any further questions? If you're online, speak up. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed, Mayor Dixon, because I am on the Board of Health and it bothers me to sign the Board of Health up for something that I'm actually a director of.
I agree with that. That's why I said I'll take the heat.
Okay.
But you don't have to put that in the motion, but I will take the heat, I assure you. Okay, thank you. I lost my monitor. Jared, is there anyone online? Okay, and that's why I say, if I say anyone online, just speak up. That means I'm not seeing a picture. So, okay, that appears to pass with all in favor except for one. So if we could note that there was one dissension due to me trying to commit a body I'm not sitting on. And we will get that done. Thank you, Mr. Dunstan, for coming. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Now we can go on to additional safe or annual safety item 6A, annual safety targets presentation, Danielle Miller. Or Mr. Liasatos. Here we go.
Hello. Oh. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. And we're going to have David Swanka from CDOT do a majority of the presentation. And he does have a presentation. Jared, if you want to start calling that up now.
By way of background, this is something that we come to you every year with. So for those of you who have been on for 8+ years, you're like, haven't we seen this before? And the answer is yes, you see it every year. There is a federal regulation that charges states to develop safety targets. And then the MPOs within those states are then charged with either going along with the state targets or establishing their own. And we have 180 days to do that. So basically, David, you can hopefully you can tell them when you did your state targets. But my understanding is the 180 days basically runs out in February. So we would need to either adopt theirs or establish our own by February of 2026. I will say that again, every year when we sort of have this item, we spend a lot of time talking about either aspirational goals versus statistical goals. And maybe preemptively, I just try to reassert that this is a statistical goal. And so these are things that, looking at the statistics over time, tend to lend us to believe that these are where the numbers are going. They are not aspirational. And quite frankly, if you try to apply an aspirational filter to these sorts of things, you would be doing yourself a disservice, because at the end of the day, while there is no quote unquote, and again, David, feel free to clarify this, penalties for not hitting your targets, there is provisions in which the feds would then restrict certain funding streams and not allow you to sort of move them around. So having your own targets is sort of all risk and no reward. But with that being said, I'll ask David to sort of give his presentation. Danelle, before she knew she was not going to be available, did add some additional information on El Paso and Teller counties that we can share with you if you guys have any questions. This month, it's an informational item. Next month, or excuse me, not next month, because next month is your annual meeting, but I believe in February, we have this scheduled to come back for adoption. That being said, there is no rule that would preclude it from being on a future consent. So if this year is different than the past 5 or 6 years, and you guys are actually comfortable with it after today, you can instruct us to put it on consent, and we could probably do that in January. But again, if you do want to talk through all these things again, we can have it scheduled as an action item in February. With that, David, are you there? And can I hand this off to you?
Yes. Thank you, John. I thought you summed up everything pretty well, so I'll try not to be too repetitive.
Yeah, I've been doing this a while. This is my first rodeo.
Appreciate it. So yeah, so the setting of the targets for calendar year 2026, which is actually a 5-year average from 2022 to 2026, was done earlier in the year. That's typically when we do it, since we have to report these numbers in our annual HSIP report by the end of August. And so it does factor in a lot of projections for what we think is going to happen in 2025 and 2026. So we do apply those in our calculations. But what we came up for the 5-year averages for 2026 is what you see here for the 5 different safety performance measures. So we have fatalities, fatality rate, which is fatalities per 100 million vehicle miles traveled, serious injuries, serious injury rates also per 100 million vehicle miles traveled, and non-motorized fatalities and serious injuries. And these are going to be your vulnerable roadway users, pedestrians, and bicyclists involved in collisions with motor vehicles. So the targets we have set are 734 fatalities with a fatality rate of 1.342. We have 3,997 serious injuries with a serious injury rate of 7.2 0.276 and a total number of 784 fatalities and serious injuries for non-motorized traffic units. Next slide, please. So this just goes over the process every year of how these performance measures are reported to FHWA. So the state reports them in its highway safety improvement program and report at the end of August. And after that, the MPOs have 180 days to report their targets, either adopting their own or going with, I would say, either going with their own or adopting the state's safety targets or supporting the state's safety targets. So this would be, I believe, February 27th would be the end day of those 180 days. So once that resolution is passed, all we ask is that it's sent to myself and Jacob Kirshner here at CDOT. Next slide, please. So I'd like to go over.
Hey,
what,
before you get
please.
too farther, David, I believe there's a question, Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Mayor Stern.
Yeah, I'm curious how the vehicle miles are calculated. How do you figure out that there's 28 million, 100 million miles been driven? How is that calculated?
Yeah, we have a unit here at CDOT dedicated to estimating vehicle travel across the state, and they have various resources they use. They have counters, they have estimate tools. I'm not intimately involved in that since that is another unit, but they use I guess standard methodologies for estimating speeds across the entire public roadway network to get to the estimated amount of travel. And like I said, some of these are involved active counters, some of these are taking counts at stations and projecting it by like a growth percentage each year, and somehow they come up with 550 million, 100 million miles vehicle traveled each year for Colorado, and each state has its own version of doing that, but it's pretty uniform. That's also reported to FHWA. It's called the HPMS report. So that's just kind of factored into how the rates are calculated once we calculate the number of fatalities that occur via crashes in the state every year.
The other question was that, for instance, you had 500 or 700 and some targeted. Our target for fatalities was 700 and something. Shouldn't our target for fatalities be 0?
Yes, that's what John was discussing, the difference between aspirational and statistical. And aspirationally, that is the vision and the goal of our safety objectives at the state, is to get to 0 fatalities, 0 serious injuries. But practically speaking, when looking at the numbers, especially when considering 5-year averages, that would be impossible since fatalities have already occurred, in 4 or 5 years. But we use these targets to establish milestone goals to see where we're going, and the higher number of 774 reflects really the increasing trends of the last 10 years. We have started to see, and we will get to that with these graphs, we started to see a decline in the last couple of years. And I believe that we will start changing our trend analysis to start being maybe a little bit more aggressive if setting a lower number of that shows a decrease. But unfortunately, since the numbers have been increasing for a while, we've been trying to view this as how do we stop the bleeding type approach versus how do we get to 0 as quickly as possible. But ultimately speaking, yeah, we do want to get to 0. That's the ultimate goal here.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead, Mr. Liasanos.
Mayor Stern, again, this is an item that we have every year. And for those of you who were around last year, we actually had a very long conversation, not only at the TAC, but then later on at the board about part of the problem is that it's very hard for anyone to say, yeah, that's a goal. I mean, the word goal is a problem. So I believe it was Gail Sergeant with the city of Colorado Springs last year that says, can't we just change the terms? Can we call it something different? And that would be a lot more palatable to this governing body as well as a lot of other folks. We made the request and the feds came back and said, no, the regulations specifically state you must have a goal, and that is the word that is to be used, and you are to call it a goal. So again, it's back to that whole sort of thing about like aspirational versus statistical. It would have been great if we could have said, this is where our statistics say we're going, and that's what anticipated. We bounced along a lot of different words, but unfortunately, again, from the federal perspective, the term of art to be used has to be goal, which I very well understand that is an issue and that our goal should be 0. But again, from a perspective of statistics, we are saying that this is our statistical goal, but we're not allowed to slap the word statistics on it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Weissong.
Madam Chair, thank you. John, quick question, and this could be David, our forecasted target goal, 734. Is that for a 5-year average or is that just for 2026?
I'll let David answer that.
Yes, that would be the 5-year average, factoring in 2022, 2023, 24, 25, and 26.
Okay.
But 26 hasn't happened yet, David. So you're
correct. So we had to do a prediction model to see what we thought would happen in 26 to get to that target number.
But then looking at the trend on the next page, it's from 22, you're down about 25%, doing some, very rough calculations. So my question would be, why are we going almost back up to the highest we've had at 734? Are we anticipating because of population growth and things like that? I'm just curious. It doesn't seem like it should be going that high.
Yeah, and this sometimes when we use our prediction models in the spreadsheet, we do use 10 years, and sometimes those trends reflect that, not just the last 3 years, but the entire 10 years and that total trend line. And this graph at this point, this was presented last month, and you can see in the title there, this is like as of November 13th. The number of fatalities that stand today is around 640. So if we project that to the end of 2025, I believe that will be around between 670 and 680. So it'll be very close to 2024. So it's not a significant decrease from the previous year. It has been decreasing the last couple of years by a few percentage. But certainly as we move the window, as we do predictions next year, I think the trends will start to incorporate that recent decrease, and we will have a lower target number than we've been showing in this specific calculation. And this is what we are doing. Again, we did this calculation back in March and April of this year. So those are the numbers that we had to deal with without the foresight of knowing what would happen this year. So that's yep.
So David, just I think his real question is, when you look at the numbers on the screen, only 1 year is over 734. So if it's a 5-year average or even a 10-year average, 734 seems to not sort of make sense. So I think we're just making sure there's not a typo somewhere or anything like that.
No,
734 is way off from 608 and 622, right? I think that's where Commissioner Weissong was coming from.
Right.
So I think we want to make sure we understand that number.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It doesn't look quite right, but that's how the prediction model did work when factoring in the 10-year the 10-year trends. So certainly we will definitely take a look at that next year to make sure it makes more sense, that it incorporates maybe some of the more recent trends instead of the 10 years. Sometimes those things could be a little bit of a black box, but we did review that, and that is the correct calculation.
I guess my only comment then would be that you asterisk that it's a 10-year, estimation using whatever program or process you use, because that might help make it a little clearer that there's a lot of magic behind the scenes that we're not looking at when you just look at the raw numbers. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mayor Stern.
So everything so far is clear as mud, but I guess for me the bigger question is, so this is our target number, and what happens when we meet the number, come under the number, go over the number? What are the consequences or the benefits thereby?
Yeah, so for the last, I believe, 3 years, we have met none of those 5 targets. We've always come in over those. And the consequence of not meeting your targets, and John mentioned this before, it reduces the flexibility you have with safety funding. With federal safety funding, there is the option to flex out half of it into other different programs. Now, this hasn't happened in decades where we've done that. Safety money should remain for safety improvement programs and safety improvement purposes. But that is one restriction that occurs if we don't meet our targets. The other is we have to obligate a certain amount of funds over the next federal fiscal year, which again is something we should always be doing, but it's just a way of FHWA to keep us on track to make sure that funding is flowing towards safety improvement projects, to work towards those projects, to work towards those targets. And finally, there is the feds do require us to write a HSIP implementation plan for the next fiscal year. So that is another requirement that we have to do. So they're not really like harsh requirements. We're not losing any funding. We're just losing maybe a little bit flexibility that we wouldn't really apply anyways. But it does help FHWA keep the state on task for trying to achieve the targets that they set.
So forgive my ignorance, but what constitutes a safety project? I mean, is that like installation of traffic lights or extra lanes, or what is it that gets done with this funding?
Yeah, the feds in their code have what's eligible for highway safety improvement funding. So they're mostly infrastructure. So you have like intersection improvements, rumble strips, shoulder widening, guardrail, intersection improvements, all those that would be considered improving safety would qualify. Pedestrian improvements, improve pedestrian crossing, separation of non-motorist and motor vehicles, stuff like that. Stuff that's been known to improve safety, decrease crashes. Really, since the measure of this program is to decrease fatalities and serious injuries resulting from crashes, the goal of the project has to have that in mind. And there are a number of metrics that we use: crash modification factors, benefit to cost ratio that we use to measure that. That's a process approved by FHWA that we use to assess the effectiveness and viability of a project that falls under what's eligible.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mayor Thompson.
One of the questions I've had over this process for years has been the way the data is collected from the various departments that report in. There is no standard for the definition of a serious crash. So if CSPD responds, it could be reported one way. If Fountain PD responds, it could be reported another way. State Patrol responds and writes up the report, it could be reported another way. I really have serious concerns that we need to somehow get to a point where we have accurate data that we're dealing with to set these goals. Because if the data isn't accurate from the various ways that people report, even just the term serious crash, we need a foundation to be working off that's better. Is a serious crash in one department where somebody goes in an ambulance, or they don't go in the ambulance and drive themselves to the hospital with a broken arm? And I think that's always been my concern with this is making sure that the basis we're beginning with is accurate. And I'm assuming that didn't get addressed this year again. And I really think we need to keep working towards that as the goal so that we have the things correctly from the get-go.
Commissioner Applegate.
Something I wanted to bring up too, I saw in one of the graphs, so El Paso County right now is running about 10% of the fatalities that are in the state. We're sitting about 60, we're sitting 64, and a yard 640 was the number. So about 10% or more. I know it's not you guys, I know it's not, the CDOT's not the good man speaking on the other line, but it's interesting that they rip our infrastructure dollars away the state. We don't have that money to maintain our highways, maintain our interstates, make them safer for travel. And yet they want to sit there and they try to shoot for these numbers, and it's like, you took our infrastructure dollars away, the money we could have used to maintain these roads, these highways, and here's El Paso County sitting at about 10% of the fatalities every year. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
Okay, this is an information only item. Has everybody, anyone else with questions?
I'm
Mayor
comfortable
Thompson.
putting this on consent agenda.
Okay, we're comfortable putting this on the consent agenda. Any questions online? Okay, thank you very much, John. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Next item. 6B, Executive Committee membership for 2026, recommendation from the nominating committee. Andrew Gunning, Executive Director.
Sure, I'll kick this off, and if anybody from the nominating committee wants to weigh in, certainly go for it. But the committee this year included Commissioner Amy Mitchell, Mayor Kelly Case, and Mayor John Graham. They met a couple of weeks ago to come up with a recommended slate for 2026 board officers, and you've got that in the packet and in front of you. No changes to the first three spots as chair. Chair Holly Williams, first vice chair Commissioner Eric Stone, second vice chair Council Member Randy Williams. This is where some changes, adjustments would occur. For treasurer, recommended Mayor Todd Dixon, and as secretary, Mayor Sharon Thompson. So that's the recommendation. Anything from the nominating committee that I'm missing?
No, Andy, I think you covered it quite nicely. I think it was a relatively easy exercise. The current executive board, of course, is generously offered to continue for the most part. Might be worth mentioning, I believe, Sharon, this will allow you to have served in every office on the executive board. So you probably get some sort of special recognition.
We wanted to give you that honor.
A decorative commemorative plate or something like that. But no, so the nominating committee appreciates the willingness of the executive board to continue and to serve. We very much appreciate the work you've done. Obviously, there's a tremendous amount of collective knowledge or tribal knowledge that's contained in the executive board, and so we appreciate that going forward. Andy, we appreciate the work that you and your staff did in putting this together. Thanks.
And Amy Mitchell here. I just wanted to say thank you for all of the nominees for stepping up and your willingness to continue to serve.
Thank you, Amy. Any other comments online? Oh, go ahead, Commissioner Stone.
Yeah, only other comment I wanted to make though is in the treasurer role is it currently is Mayor Kelly Case from Woodland Park, and she's term limited going out of office in April. So that necessitated a new person in that seat, but wanted to thank Kelly for serving in that role. I know she's here online, and of course will be at future meetings up until the point where she's termed out of office, but just appreciate her service on the executive committee.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much. Okay, this is information only, so we appreciate the nominating committee meeting and making those nominations, and we will vote on those in January. Okay, next item on the agenda. Other reports and minutes, 7A through 7G are all information items. The notes were included in your packet. Does anyone have any questions on those? And please take the time to read those. So let's go to 7H, or Colorado Department of Transportation Monthly Update. Shane.
All right, good
Good
morning.
to have you here.
Appreciate the time and opportunity. So just a couple of brief updates, and then I'll turn it over to Patty Henshin for project updates. Currently this month and next month this past month in November, and then in January, we've been going through the 10-year plan comments and projects with the Transportation Commission. Region 2 will present in January, and so the plan for the commission will be to vote on the 10-year plan in March, and so that's coming up here early in the spring. Couple of stats for Region 2 as a whole this past construction season. We're looking at total expenditures to be about $185 million this past year. Again, that's for Region 2, so the southeast 14 counties, including El Paso, Teller Park, and South. We're looking at potential expenditures for next year for Region 2 around $165 to $180 million. We're still kind of fine-tuning what those numbers and dollars will look like. And so a little bit of a downtrend on where we are going. Obviously, we've all been aware of the funding and the challenges there. And so that's starting to show up with our construction expenditures as well. On the maintenance front, just to remind folks that, bow to the plow, so to speak. We are definitely in the middle of winter season. I think yesterday, at least in Park County, definitely got a very, very strong taste of that, closing 285 due to heavy winds and snow. The guys out there did a fantastic job. I have a video that they was sent to me of about, I would say, 5 feet of visibility in front of the hood of the truck as they were plowing. And so be careful out there as we go through this season. Within Park County, Teller, and El Paso County, I have 65 snowplows. So you'll see everybody out there working, especially when it starts to fly around this area. And so with that, any questions for me? Otherwise, I'll turn it over to Patty.
Okay, I don't see any questions for Shane. Patty, welcome. It's good to have you here.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will go over the CDOT projects within the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments, and then also the Central Front Range area. So active construction projects within PPACG. We have the ongoing Powers and Airport Boulevard or interchange. We have continuous concrete paving being installed, and the traffic shift on the new interchange is scheduled for spring of 26, with a project completion date of about August 26. The I-25 Fillmore to Garden of the Gods reconstruction. We have an upcoming bridge rehab over Garden of the Gods Bridge. That's scheduled for the April-May timeframe of next year, with a scheduled completion date of August 2026. The Colorado 115's resurfacing Nelson Boulevard to Brookside. We are in the final stages of minor work. We're installing signs along the corridor, but we've pretty much completed that project. And we should be finishing up this year. Not should be, we will be finishing up this year. State Highway 67 north of Woodland Park improvements. That one we are getting ready for winter shutdown. The final product to finish would be finishing up the storm sewer, some resurfacing and paving, striping and signs. That one will finish next year.
the planned future PPACG projects, we have 3 traffic signal installations around the area. And then the stagecoach roundabout, those are all for 2026. We also have an I-25 wildlife fence from the North Gate exit all the way up to County Road 105. And then upcoming major projects in 2027 are going to be the US 24 Garrett to Woodman widening. This includes improvements to some of those intersections and then some new frontage and backage roads. And then along the same corridor, we are doing Judge Orr intersection improvements that are going to improve the Bluegill intersection, and it'll improve access in that area. Another project is going to be the US 24 Green Mountain Falls intersection improvements that will be happening in 2027. Moving on to the Central Front Range area. Active construction projects, we have the US 24 resurfacing from Florissant through Divide.
Jared, could we get the next slide? Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
We are going into winter shutdown for that one, and we'll finish it off in the spring with some striping, rumble strips, and the access driveways that still need to be built up. The US 285 resurfacing through Bailey is also looking to shut down for winter, and we will come back in the spring for striping, rumble strips, and asphalt curb. Those 2 projects just hit us with the weather that came in, and so we can't work at night in the temperatures that are out there. Planned future CFR projects. We have the US 50 culvert lining and repairs in Fremont County, and then a resurfacing south of Texas Creek on State Highway 69. We also have an upcoming resurfacing and passing lane east of Peyton through Calhan on US 24, and then a concrete preventative maintenance and rehab in Penrose on 115. All of these are scheduled for 2026.
All right. Do we have any questions? Mayor Thompson.
You have frontage / backage road. Know what a frontage road is? Backage road, like you back up the road.
So we are going
So
to,
I don't know.
we are going to eliminate we're creating a new road and eliminating the access from some of those residential homes that are butting up to US 24. We're creating a new road behind, therefore backage, and then redirecting them to a safer intersection rather than having them pull out of their home onto US 24. So we're creating a safer way for them to get in and out of their homes.
It's a new federal government term, backage. Okay, any questions from anyone online? All right, well, good. Thank you very much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. The Statewide Transportation Advisory Committee took December off, so we will be meeting again in January. I haven't seen Hannah Parsons on for a Transportation Commission report, but did they, Shane, do you have any, what they did in November?
Yeah, like I said, primarily the largest part of it was going over Region 5 and Region 3's 10-year plan list of projects. They did go through some of the budget, at least the draft budget review for fiscal year 27 for CDOT. It's a long process. Definitely starts in October, and I believe finalization for the CDOT budget is usually for early May, late April, early May timeline, or the May Transportation Commission meeting. There was an update with respect to I believe the Front Range Rail and some CTIO discussions as well. That was primarily the commission meetings this week or this month.
Thank you. I put you on the spot there, but I appreciate it very much. I knew they were talking about the budget,
Yes.
and so I appreciate that.
Okay.
Front Range Passenger Rail, right now we don't have a member on the board until we elect one next month. Is there anyone here who has an update on that? All right. Committee and commission vacancies are listed in our packet. And so if you have time, if you notice you have someone missing and you have someone who you're able to find who can volunteer with some expertise, we would greatly appreciate that. Executive Director's Report, we'll turn it over to Andy.
Great. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just 3 items. Wanted to mention and throw some kudos out as well. We just finished up our open enrollment for Medicare through the AAA. This past Sunday is when they finished up. I really want to thank our staff. Did a great job because we had some changes in staff this year. So a couple of new members that were helping out with open enrollment. We had Pamela Hogard, who's been with us for 30 plus years now. So this was not her first rodeo, but joined by two newer staff members, Katie Ostini and Tian Horsey, and they did a fantastic job. That's our busiest time of year with a lot of traffic coming into the main lobby downstairs here. Also assisted with our awesome volunteer, Jack, who's been doing this, helping us out as a volunteer for this past couple of years, but just great job. Kudos to the team for helping to navigate open enrollment seamlessly once again this year. So good work. Thank you, Jody. Secondly, shifting gears a little bit, I think it's safe to announce that we got a grant from a foundation to help us with water quality planning. Is it okay to mention that, Carol? So we got the funds, I think. So it's all been solidified. But thank you to Angie. I think Angie probably bailed out, but she got connected with the Lyda Hill Foundation, and they've granted us $60,000 to help with our area-wide water quality management plan update. We get a little bit of support from the state, primarily with an EPA grant that flows through the state to help us in this area, but it's not enough. So Angie's been out there beating the bushes, and really thankful for the Lyda Hill Foundation stepping up and helping us out in this water quality plan update. So just wanted to pass that along. And then finally, just wanted to mention that last week we had a driver recognition through our Mobility Coordinating Council. It's the committee that Lisa Gagnon coordinates. And I know we had Envita and Silver Key in the audience for a little bit, but it is just a great event. It's really the highlight of the work that our MCC does each year. This board allocates the funding that goes out to our service providers to provide rides for seniors and other people with mobility challenges across the region. At the end of each year through the MCC, each one of our agencies that we fund nominates a driver that's really gone above and beyond as far as providing exceptional customer service. So it's really, we hear some great heartwarming stories about how the funding's really making a difference in people's lives. I'm going to mention a few, shout out to a few of the folks. They highlighted Kathy from Envita. I think that's the lady right in the middle. She's requested by everybody who calls into Envita to reserve a ride. Kimberly with Fountain Municipal Transit highlighted how she helped a rider in distress in a medical emergency until EMS came onto the scene. Just great service there. Tina is the lady on the far left-hand side. She's with Mountain Metro Mobility, and they highlighted just how she has been for a very long time their go-to trainer, mentor, advocate, and safety champion. The one blemish on her record is she apparently backed into a pole about 6 years ago, but that's the only blemish on her 20-year career with MMT, with Mountain Metro Mobility, which was pretty cool. And then
I've done that too, so that's okay.
Right. And then Fred on the far right-hand side, he's with the Teller Senior Coalition. It wasn't the leader of the Teller Senior Coalition, but another program manager mentioned how his personnel file is just stuffed with accolades from drivers across Teller County that he's helping. He also perfected something, and Shane may not want to listen to this, but cover your ears, but he's perfected a U-turn maneuver on Highway 24 because a couple of examples, he's had to take seniors down to doctor's appointments in the Springs, and in 2 cases, one, I think somebody had to go back to get additional tests taken at Memorial Hospital. So Fred made a U-turn and right on US 24 and hightailed it back to Memorial Hospital to get the senior back in for additional care. And then in another example, there were a handful of seniors in the van, and they realized one of the seniors said, "I left my backpack and my doctor's office. So Fred, once again, did a U-turn on somewhere on U-Pass on US 24 and hightailed it back. But just really always going above and beyond. So it's just wanted to highlight that because it's a great event. We're trying to explore some ways to maybe have the driver recognition event coincide somehow with a board meeting or some kind of board recognition, because more people really ought to hear about the great service that they're providing across our region. Just fantastic examples, and just wanted to highlight them. So that's all I got.
Yeah, wonderful. That's a great group of people. So
Yeah. Yep.
thank you very much.
Sure.
Member entity announcements. Mayor Thompson. Okay, Mayor Thompson doesn't have anyone. Mayor Stern.
Commissioner Weissong asked me earlier how the starlighting went. My wife and I happened to be out of town, so we weren't attending, but everything looks good. The star looks good this year.
Okay, we always love that star on the mountain.
And we are looking forward to the Homer Lake Classic. It's the outdoor hockey tournament that we have in January. So weather is starting to look good for that at the moment. And so it's a this is the 5th year, and it's been growing and gaining public attendance every year. So it's a good thing for Palmer.
Okay, Mayor Graham.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Several weeks ago, we dedicated what we call the Section 4, Phase 4 of our Creek Walk Trail. It's a multi-mobility path, right-of-ways for bikes, pedestrians, strollers, everything but motorized vehicles. And that required a lot of ongoing cooperation from CDOT. So I'd like to recognize CDOT for their persistence and really their endurance, because this project took us several years. It was involved because we had a lot of property and utilities issues. So we appreciate CDOT's hanging in there and getting it done. Thanks.
Commissioner Applegate.
Attended the Holly and Ivy concert last night. Special shout out to the Air Force, and there were some really good performers. Their band and their symphony did really well.
They're great.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it immensely. And then, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody. So best of luck. Best of luck. I know you're going up the hill, the Adaman. So yeah, best of luck to the Adaman Club heading up the hill this year. So alrighty, that's all I got today.
All right. Anyone online? Or I could have Commissioner Stone speak for Teller County first, and then we'll go with Commissioner Mitchell for Park.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A few things. Ice castles. The warmer weather of late has delayed, the development of the ice up there. But my understanding is they're getting ready to open right about New Year's, maybe right around the first of the year, January 3rd, maybe. So that'll be getting ready to be going. Had a very successful Christmas parade this last weekend. Want to thank Woodland Park and also CDOT for their cooperation to shut down Highway 24, so we could do that wonderful parade right down Main Street in Woodland Park. And so reports of that were that it was the largest and best attended maybe in history. So congratulations to the organizers for that. Also, just kind of wanted to report back from Teller County during the shutdown and the cessation of SNAP benefits. The Teller County commissioners and other electeds throughout the county organized a task force to get together to address the issue of food insecurity during the shutdown that would not only affected those with SNAP, but also those who worked for the federal government who may have not been receiving paychecks during that time. And we were able to generate $150,000 in private donations, plus another $50,000 to $60,000 with governmental agencies. In addition to massive food drives, we distributed over 100,000 pounds of food on the Monday before Thanksgiving. We were also able to provide additional cold storage to all of our food banks throughout the county, so that as they look at additional food challenges, that they'll have more cold storage available for to be able to accept and keep donations. But we ran it as if it were, we ran it through our Office of Emergency Management as if it were an event. We felt like it was a good opportunity for that crew to be able to train for an event. We just are finishing up an after action report on that because you never know at what point that whether it be due to weather, wildfire, or others, that we might have a food distribution issue, and obviously a rural part of our region. We view it as a great success, but mainly due to the people of the county and the people that came out. It was tremendous to see it all. And so anyway, just kind of wanted to bring everybody up to speed on that. I know we live in a different world than El Paso and the issues that we had. And of course, Karen Share was a big part of that as well, because they do provide food up to our area. But anyway, it was, we put it together in order to avoid what could have been a crisis. And I think it probably would have been a crisis at certain points had we not. And that's kind of the best part of emergency planning, is to be able to enact and keep something from becoming much, much worse. And so from that standpoint, it was a great success.
Commissioner Mitchell from Park County.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, I want to thank Teller County for reaching out to Park County, especially offering services to the residents who live on the southeast edge of Park County. A lot of them get services in Florissant and Divide, and they were happy to allow those people to reach the food bank in in Divide, because we do not have a food bank in that area. But we also ran a food drive, and I'm happy to say no one in Park County went hungry. Everyone stepped up, and our Department of Human Services did a great job. Just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday season. And as you are traveling through Park County to go skiing, because we are getting some snow, even if it is not an ongoing snowstorm, my nature can wreak havoc on our roads, and please, everybody be careful. They clocked yesterday a wind gust on Kenosha Pass at 110 miles an hour. And so it was icing up the roads and causing ground blizzards, and there was no active snowstorm. So just want to give you guys all that information. So just be careful. We're happy to have you come up, and everyone take care and stay warm.
Mayor LeKind.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This last week, we had our annual Christmas tree lighting festival. Budget be damned, we made it happen. The parks crew did a fantastic job. Santa Claus showed up with Mrs. Claus to flip the switch. The place was absolutely packed to the gills. And Mother Nature provided a dumping of snow just before the event started, and it made for some interesting walking throughout the park. And thank you to Commissioner Wysong for attending. He was dressed very festively.
Okay.
There may be pictures, I'm not sure.
There might be pictures. I would suspect there are. Mayor Case, do you have any announcements for Woodland Park?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, just to piggyback on what Eric said, we also had our tree lighting on Friday night with our winter day in the park that evening. It also was well attended. It was really cold. We didn't get any snow, but I did get to flip the switch on a beautifully decorated monster tree in Memorial Park. Our whole downtown is just beautifully decorated. We added lights this year, so we've got mountains of lights downtown, and enjoy driving through and enjoying that in the evenings if you have the opportunity. And we had our parade, as Eric said, on Saturday night. It was the largest we've had. We had 64 floats. We had people 12, 15 deep on the sides of the street on Highway 24 through town. And it was just a really awesome parade, culminating with Santa Claus and a huge fireworks show with all large shells. And it was really very festive. And so it was a great season kickoff. Breakfast with Santa with the Kiwanis was well attended and a lot of fun. And so we are in full swing for the holiday season. So Merry Christmas and Happy New Year and Happy Holidays to everyone. Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm going to go with Mayor Pro Tem Shaw from Rama, if you're available, and then we'll go with Councilman Rainey.
Well, we got a upcoming Christmas dinner on the 14th. Santa Claus is going to be there, and we are openly inviting any and all that would like to come and join us for a Christmas dinner. Our festivities kick off for kid projects around 4 o'clock. Santa Claus is expected to be there ready to roll about 5:15, and dinner around 6.
Okay, wonderful. And is Councilman Roland Rainey still available? I feel like sometimes some of us are handling 2 or 3 meetings. I know the Board of Health met this morning, so it made it kind of hard for some of our members. Okay, I do know the city of Colorado Springs, I believe, has their Festival of Lights parade going downtown, and I imagine that's coming up. And oh, I missed it. Okay. I missed it. I would like to say that my high school, Rampart, did win the state band championship, I think. So that was not the high school I went to. It's high school all 4 of my kids went to. And El Paso County, things are quiet for the next 2 weeks, but we start nice, bright and early on January 8th with a long planning commission meeting. And then we get off into a new year with things a little bit busier. So we are going to be quiet though after next Tuesday, which is kind of long. So we appreciate everybody. Are there any other announcements or business that need to come before this committee? Okay, if not, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, be safe, and we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.